on the road again. On the road again. It's a good song. And I stole these glasses from Shaw, which is great. Well, they were in the office. I'm assuming they're his because they got some horse stuff on them. And I always lose mine, so I just take whatever I can get. Anyway, I'm super happy with how the Renli turned out. We made 100 horsepower, 101 to be exact. And now it's time to upgrade a little bit because as I said in the video, it was running lean. And when I mean lean, it was like high 13s, low 14s AFR, which is way too lean, especially for a turbo car. So, or for turbo anything. So, I decided not to try and do 0 to 60 or anything crazy after the dyno. I just wanted to get that. Thanks. I just wanted to get that run going and you know, prove that we could hit that 100 horsepower under 500 bucks turbocharged. So now I paid a visit to my buddies up in Hope Sound at Fuel Injector Clinic. If you guys have not seen them before, go check them out. Go check out their Instagram, go check out their website. They do everything fuel injector related. You call them with any recipe you need for fuel injectors and they've got you covered. So I took the injectors out of the Renli, ran up to them because they're only about 45 minutes away from me, ran up there and they flowed them, tested them out. They flowed out to 120 cc's stock, and then they bumped them open a little bit for me. So now we're pushing 220 cc's. So that's going to be a pretty sizable increase. I may be able to dial down the FMU now, and we'll see how that affects everything. So I'm going to throw these injectors in as soon as I get back to the shop, and we'll test it out.
7 towards Southern Boulevard on US 98.
Look at those little beauties. Super clean, flowed up, ready to go. Put them in. And we're loaded back up on the dyno, just like that. Super easy. I love this thing. So here's the basic setup now. I went ahead and I took away my hot wire on the pump. I didn't need that anymore. The amount of fuel that these injectors flow is totally plenty. Stock injector, like I said, 120 cc. This injector, 220 cc. I'm going to make a pull now. It should be pretty rich, rather rich than lean. It was before, like I said, high 13s, low 14s air fuel ratio at wide open throttle, which is way too lean for a turbo car. So hopefully we can get down low 11s, high 10s. That's a nice safe pump gas air fuel ratio, especially for this little setup. And it shouldn't affect power that much. So let's go ahead and make a pull and see where she's at. I also dialed back the fuel pressure with the regulator. So fuel pressure at idle is real low, like 10 PSI. And then as soon as it starts moving and driving, fuel pressure comes on. And then under boost, the FMU kicks on. And then we see big pressure for the turbo. So that's effectively how we are conquering the non-turbo computer. This is our new computer per se. It's just basically increasing fuel pressure with boost. It's a rise rate of 12 to 1, which on a normal regulator like this, the rise rate is usually like 1 to 1. It's not much. So the FMU being 12 to 1 is going to increase pressure quite a bit, and at 7 PSI we'll get 70 or close to it pounds of fuel pressure, which is what we want. And that way it'll take care of the fueling demands up top, and then down low the computer can make adjustments because I still have the O2 sensor hooked up. The primary O2 is still hooked up here right before the cat, and that allows the computer to make the adjustments in closed loop for normal driving and idle. So the air-fuel ratio at driving and idle is going to be perfect. It's going to be in the 14s and 15s cruising. We're not going to lose our gas mileage, and then when we punch it, it's just going to go rich. So let's get to it. Okay, that was good. It did exactly what we hoped. We're still at 100 horsepower, give or take. And the air-fuel ratio, let me grab my mouse here. Air-fuel ratio was nice and flat. Look at that. That's how it's supposed to look. Looked like 11.6 going in, and then around 11.2 wide open throttle, and then 11.4 top end. So perfect air-fuel ratio for pump gas, and you can see we're rated 100. That's where we want to be. So that is perfect, for lack of a better term. Everything about this is now really nice. Cruising AFR, as you can see here at idle. Let's see here. You can see we're idling in the 15s. It's real nice. Cruising stays nice and lean. And then as soon as I got on the throttle, you could see the fuel coming in, and it went nice and rich. So that's the curve you want to see, and it's gonna drive great. I'm really happy with it. So now it's just time to take it out and enjoy it a little bit. I think I'll do a little bit of driving on it just to make sure all the systems stay intact and we don't lose anything. Everything seems to be working pretty good though. The turbo's happy at this point. Again, that's 8 psi, 7.5, 8 psi, so not too much boost, and a real simple setup. Little Cherry motors hanging in there. I'd like to see a little more RPM, but you know what? For the sake of keeping this project under control, I'm just going to leave it that way for now, and then we'll deal with things as they come. For those that have never seen one of these, they're pretty neat. Comes with Elka suspension from the factory. It's nothing crazy, it's just like a stage 1 Elka, but really cool. 4-wheel disc brakes, trailing arm suspension, and 5-speed transmission, which is super cool. So Renli RL 1100. They have a 1500, it makes more power, but we're already making more power than a 1500 now that we're turbo. So that's good. Carries about 7 gallons of fuel, which is good. That'll get us easily, 100 miles or so or more, 150 miles, and drives like a little car. It's really good. It's got this cool instrument cluster right here. Gives you all your information, speed, RPM, and whatnot. I mounted a phone mount up here. This one's got a windshield on it. Light bar, nice and bright. This is 4-wheel drive, and it's got diff locks. So we got a front diff lock, and we got the rear diff lock. So front and rear diff locks, selectable 4-wheel drive. This is a really cool little truck slash buggy, whatever you want to call it. Radiator mounted in the back. It's got tail lights, turn signals, so it's street legal. And so far, I'm enjoying it. Hopefully Rudnick gets something soon, because I really want a buddy to go out to Corbett and go off-road. I don't want to go by myself. Getting stuck by yourself is not as much fun as getting stuck with a friend who can help pull you out. I bet you thought I was done. Well, I'm not. Check this out. I went ahead and installed the intercooler. So here's what I came up with. So this is the Pajero, stock Pajero intercooler. It's real small, super compact. I put the little fan to go around top of it. It's like a 9-inch fan. It covers up the entire surface area of the core. So that's gonna be pretty good. I I plugged off the temperature sensor, which was on it from the factory. Don't need that. And reroute the piping so that it works now. So that's the last upgrade for this little setup. Now we have an intercooled, turbocharged Cherry engine in our Renli RL 1100. And we're gonna get it back on the dyno so we can see exactly what kind of power we're looking at with the intercooler. I've been talking to a couple of people, and it seems as though the intercooler is good for another 10 horsepower or so, maybe even more. We'll see. Either way, I'm bound to find out when this freaking rain stops. Of course, it started raining. What do you mean? You have a roof. Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there into the slop with no windshield wiper. I got a windshield, but I have no windshield wiper, so that would be suck. Otherwise, yes, Marcus is right, I do have a roof. But either way, when the rain stops, we'll pull her around, we'll put her on a dyno, and we'll see exactly what we're talking about. And then I'd like to go out and do another 0 to 60 run, because you know now, we're definitely gonna be in the 60s. So I'm hoping sub 10s, obviously. A sub 10 0 to 60, something in the 9 or 8 second range would be realistic. And anything better than that would be fantastic. But if you guys haven't seen the other videos yet, I'll run you through this thing one last time. This is a 2014 Renli RL 1100. It's got an automotive drivetrain in it. So it has a 5-speed manual transmission with the clutch, obviously. And then this 1.1 liter Cherry SQR 472, which is like basically a knockoff of a couple of other engines that were out a long time ago, but the Chinese did it, and they use it in their cars and some Fiats, I believe. Either way, we turbocharged it, upgraded the injectors. Stock was 120 cc, we're up to 220 cc thanks to Fuel Injector Clinic. Added an intercooler. I fabricated everything. We're still running a CAT, still running an O2 sensor. So it's a legit setup. Upgraded a fuel pump. It's running an as new E85 pump, just in case. Hint, hint. You never know. We might want to run E85. And also controlling fueling, we're using a FMU and a fuel pressure regulator. This is set up at 12 to 1. So between all those items and my little blow-off valve down there, between all these little items, we were able to go from 60 wheel horsepower to 100 wheel horsepower, and now probably more with the intercooler. So rain stops, we'll find out. All right, we're loaded up again. Let's make a rip and see what she makes. All right, so no change in power. Still rated 100 horsepower, maybe a little more torque, but either way, I don't think I can expect any more power than that, especially without upping the boost at all. But the intercooler is good because it is going to keep the charge cool. It is really hot and muggy today, so maybe that's part of it too. But regardless, intercooler is really just for temperature control at this point. Not seeing any power gain from it, but it's cool to have. Out there in the road, on the trail, it's going to make a big difference when it gets heat soaked. It won't be as bad as having no intercooler. So anything to keep that dreaded detonation from happening is a plus in my book. All right, 0 to 60 time. Let's see what she's got. So that was a massive improvement. We actually clicked off a, let's see here. That is showing a 2.59 0 to 30, and then a 0 to 60 of 8.1, which could definitely even get better. I was trying to baby it like I did with the last time we tested it. So we are definitely 0 to 60, low 8s, probably in the 7s. That's awesome. That's what I'm looking for. And this thing is just an animal now, comparatively speaking. Before, I couldn't even hit 60 in that little stretch. Now, I was halfway down the stretch and I was over it. So, really, really good. 2.50 to 30 though, I'm really happy about that. That's a good time. So, awesome. The turbo works in every way possible so far.